What's going on, guys? New house today. New house alert. This is Born to Stand Out. But will this fragrance stand out? I don't know. The title certainly does. Strap up. What's going on, party people? This is the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Check this out, guys. I kind of want to dive straight into this house, man. This is Born to Stand Out's Mary Jane. Smoking on that Mary Jane. I do want to check out Born to Stand Out. See if there's any messaging behind the fragrance house. Okay, let me read this for you real quick. Designer Born to Stand Out has 36 perfumes in the fragrance database. It's a new fragrance brand. The earliest edition was created in 2022, and the newest is from 2025. The fragrances were made in collaborations with perfumer XYZ and everything in between. Quentin Biche involved in some of these. Natalie Lorson. So some heavy hitters in here. There's like a roster here of like 10 to 15 individuals named. No other information. Country, South Korea. Okay. Anyways, Mary Jane. As the name suggests, this probably has cannabis in it. I haven't come across a lot of cannabis-based fragrances as far as accords or whatever. All I know is that a lot of the gripe with them is that they can be quite rank. Resin, stank resin, kind of that cashed bowl feel to a lot of the cannabis notes. As it relates to fragrance, which can be very off-putting. I think the second thing is as a consumer who doesn't consume Mary Jane via any of the different ways you can consume it, would this be mass appealing to the non-smoking or non-cannabis consuming crowd? We will find out today. My main objective is twofold. One, do I feel like it's a fragrance true to name? Do I get the cannabis feel, and how do I get it? I'm assuming this is going to be greenery like you've never smelled before, sticky buds and all that jazz. So yeah, does it feel true to that audience? And also as a consumer outside of that, is it a good fragrance so that even people who want nothing to do with cannabis, they would still buy a fragrance like this because it smells good? Okay, I'm going to put a fragrance like this on skin. Let that sit, and we are going to initial impressions it up on the test strip. I'm going to give it 2 solid sprays. Guys, in the air. Woo! Oh, my goodness. Yo. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Woo! Off the back, in the air, guys, what you get is this lush, fruity green opening, like real outdoor green, almost like pine, lush green, like foresty lush green, in the air, combined with some sort of fruit. It feels to me like grapefruity. It's just got this like greenness, this tartness, and a bit of sweet as like a sandwich. It's very glued together, but then it kind of like unfolds into the cannabis. You know what I'm saying? Like this smells like, and again, I didn't, I tried smoking a couple times as a kid. It was never my thing. So I have very minimal experience with caliber and grades of sticky, but this definitely is reminiscent. This would be like the finest stuff you could buy. You know what I'm saying? Like this is when I used to be in college and I used to see people that used to smoke, and they used to always have little baggies and stuff. they would tell people like, yo, smell this. And people would go in and, oh my gosh, man, this is going to be crazy, right? You also get that Cat Williams skit, Cryptochronic Kilolite. This smells like the finest grade leaf you can find in the most commercial way possible. Like, it feels both authentic and pure in that kind of chronic kush vibe, yet pretty too. There's a prettiness to the top that is forest green, almost like a sweet and tart grapefruit. Some instances I get a bite, some instances I get a tart, and that's reminiscent kind of marijuana to me, at least in my experience, seeing it in the air many times, going to parties and being in college and dorm room life and all that stuff. So there's, I want to stress this, and man, on skin, it is wafty, Mick Jenkins. Yeah, on the test strip, all that pretty beauty stuff is like, I mean, it's there, but it is more straight chronic, like like gas, like in the freshest way possible. You know what I'm saying? It's like the guy who had the distillery, is that what it's called? Whatever the illery, the right name is. This is the headquarters, and he's got leaf from front to back football field length in the back in various strands, and the front desk has a tree infused Carmier fragrance, and that's their signature fragrance. It gets very green and less pretty, even though it is pretty for cannabis lovers. What I was meaning by pretty in the initial opening is that it had this sweet tart, this not sweet tart like the candy, but both sweet and tart characteristically, this grapefruit accord, which was like very sweet, and then like an outdoors green note. That all seems to die down to like pure leaf on test strip and on skin. Oh my gosh, it is straight tree on dry down, on the test strip and on skin. It is sticky leaf. Man, it still has the prettiness, but the prettiness has became a supporting role. It was not fighting, but it was sandwiched in the air. Now it's broke down to where it's like leaf forward, doll up in the back. Man, wow. For marijuana lovers, this is a 10 out of 10 fragrance without any additional analysis. There's no like burntness to it. There's no fire to it. This is just fresh leaf before the consumption. High grade. It's got a high gradeness to it. Very quality with the ingredients here. I'm very shocked in that regard. Even though I haven't really dealt with this house, man, this is not to be taken lightly. This is a serious high-end niche perfumery to me. Unisex fragrance, let me say that for the record as well. Man, it's, as you guys can see, I'm Mr. Snuffleupagus over here, because in the air, it is crazy. It says, this is a woody aromatic fragrance for women and men, launched in 2024. Well, we won't go over the notes, but matter of fact, let's just go ahead and hit the next window and show you guys the breakdown here. Okay, rhubarb, mint, grapefruit, cannabis up top. I get grapefruit, cannabis. The mint is tiny, but it is there. The rhubarb might be responsible for the sweetness I'm getting. Like, it does have like a fruity sweet that almost feels like that's more of the contrast to the grapefruit rather than the grapefruit itself being sweet and tart. Elemi resin in the mid, passion fruit. I think passion fruit is an incredible choice here to mix with cannabis, because not only is it sweet and tart, but it has a luxury fruitness to it that I think kind of fits the gas scent profile in the air. You know what I'm saying? That just tart green. Sage as well. Woodsy notes, which we don't know what that means in the base. cashmere wood, pine. Definitely pine is appropriate. And then caramel. That's probably the strangest note in this pairing. On skin, this is so green. I mean, it's nice. I actually, I'm trying to, I don't want to say it too soon, but there is a mass appeal to this for non-cannabis lovers. But I think if you don't want to smell cannabis at all, run away from this fragrance. I don't, would you wear this and people think you had weed on you? Absolutely. But in the most respectful, pleasant way possible. Like, if the weed dude needed the best representation to not get caught, I mean, he's still getting caught, but it's the most cleanest cut representation of cleanliness and precision with this wearing experience. Oh man, so green on skin. It's greener on skin than the test strip. Feels a little more commercial on the test strip. This is a prime example of why you need to put fragrances on skin, and I'm glad I did, because I can already tell my take would be slightly different. Man, projection, sillage, longevity, all over the place. I don't really get the caramel note. I'm just going to keep it 1,000, but everything else seems par for the course. This is a sandwich fragrance. Everything is caked together, but the standout notes to me is certainly the passion fruit, pine, mint, grapefruit, cannabis combo, and everything else kind of just acts like weight for the fragrance, you know, giving it density and substance. I think this is extremely well done. That note pairing on there is just very fascinating. I think off the note pairing alone, I give this a serious amount of props. Bottle presentation is really cool. It's sexy. Born to Stand Out, you know, Mary Jane being something that kind of, you know, is like a certain society and group of people that partake in that activity. So Born to Stand Out kind of even fits with the phraseology there. Aromatic, green, woody, citrus, spicy, balsamic, slightly sweet. Okay, let's go through the usual suspects. I do think, man, it's so reminiscent of Vetiver Sensual and Amberful from Mancera. It's got the sweet amberiness of Amberful. It's got the body of Vetiver Sensual. There's even more of a mass appeal though than Vetiver Sensual. I feel, but I could be wrong in that too, because the cannabis is such a distinguished factor in terms of people's mindset on whether or not they like this fragrance. You know, do I think somebody who doesn't deal with cannabis would smell this and want to deal with a cannabis-based fragrance? I think it's 50-50. I actually think this smells phenomenal. Would I wear it? I might go through some psychology on like, do I feel like smelling like the best dressed cannabis out there? Oh man, it would be so circumstantial. I would want to, but it's almost like a society thing. You know what I mean? So I would have to give it some thought. But in a non-judgmental world, I would absolutely rock this fragrance 100%. There's absolute beauty and complexity to this fragrance. I do think it's ageless. I think in a lot of ways it's fun and playful, yet extremely upscale as a fragrance. And for that, I think that carries some mature weight to it, where as you climb up in age, even though there's playful elements to it, no one's going to question whether or not you spent a lot of money on this fragrance. This smells snazzy as crap. Okay, I need to dig deep for a second. Ageless fragrance for both men and women. Don't wear this to school. You will get sent to the principal's office. I don't even care if you're in college. Well, these days with the legalities of everything, you could probably wear it in college. Occasions for this fragrance, anything playful, anything not that serious. If you're trying to represent the cannabis brand somewhere, that maybe that would lead you into semi-formal. But I think this is upscale playful at best. Again, ageless occasions, I think You know, outdoors, this would be an incredible fragrance because the sillage projection and longevity would just be incredible. This could handle itself out in the sun. It's got an amberiness to it. You know, temperature would really wring this off skin. On skin, it's crazy how green it is, how much more green it is comparatively to test strip. This is not a test strip fragrance. You got to put it on skin. But man, for a cannabis-based fragrance, after smelling this, I have very high expectations for any other future cannabis-based fragrances because this set the bar way high for me. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, no question. Very well done. The craftsmanship, the bottle presentation, the complexity, the dimensionality to it, the nuance to not just lean into the cannabis, but to really complement it with the notes. Just masterful. Passion fruit, grapefruit, mint. The caramel is the kicker there, but it's so indistinguishable in the fragrance that it's a finesse move, and so I'm not mad at it. Yeah, they did a heck of a job on this. Sprays, I mean, honestly, 3-4 is going the distance, man. Do not overspray this. I don't even care if you're a cannabis lover. You know, I think about a fragrance like Lalique's Ombre Leather, which is essentially like cognac, tobacco, smoky, vanillic, cinnamon, you know, but they contrasted that note pairing so interestingly by adding mint and papyrus, I believe. So this waft of minty green through the cognac, vanillic, cinnamon DNA. It almost intuitively in my mind is like, I wonder how Mary Jane would stack up, you know, being blended with like an ombre noir or a angel sherry type of DNA, or even vetiver sensual. I think it would be redundant to put those next to each other, but yeah, it just immediately starts making me think of combos, you know, to either duff out the cannabis side of it or to accentuate it. 10 out of 10 fragrance. I give it a
Perfect.
excellent fragrance, man. I wish I could say there's an alternative to this. I know that there are plenty of other cannabis fragrances out there, but man, this feels very cream of the crop. Like this feels like it should have came from Mancera, to be honest with you. It would have fit in their line beautifully. It would have been a little bit redundant next to Vetiver Sensual, but I think this would have been the more commercial take on Vetiver Sensual, which would have hit a different audience for people who are non-vetiver lovers. It has a vetiveriness to the green, even though it's not in the fragrance. Man, the cannabis is strong. Well done, guys. Well done. I know I'm leaving something out, but that's okay. I feel like I've dissected the fragrance enough to where you guys should definitely try it, man. You guys should definitely try it. I take this brand very seriously at this point moving forward. We've got a couple other Borntostandout's that we're going to look at. But let me know in the comments section, guys. Have you tried this fragrance? I know a lot of people have tried or thought about Hindu Kush from Mancera. I'd be really interested in seeing how that does. The votes seem to be nice on this fragrance. But I think ultimately, if you're not a cannabis fan at all, stay away from this fragrance because it is cannabis to the core. However, if you have an open mind to a cannabis fragrance, I think this is going to be one of the best representations you get to be able to kind of play in that arena and see kind of the beauty of cannabis as a scent profile. There's nothing burnt. There's nothing overly resinous about it. It actually is accentuated in a beautiful way, mostly by fruits and outdoor greens. So I give it a lot of props for the blend. I'm definitely going to find an excuse to rock it and see how it does outside. I might get looked at crazy, but I don't care as long as it's the right setting, like maybe at a park or something. Might get approached by the cops, you know, whatever. But yeah, definitely a fragrance as a fragrance lover that you should get your nose on because it just hits a different angle of perfumery that should be celebrated. I think this was a very well done job in terms of the craftsmanship. I think you can get half-size bottles on this as well as 100 mils, but they're pretty pricey. Max Aroma, for instance, has a 50 ml for $210. Let me see if I can gather a little bit better research from you guys. Let's look at Fragrance Net. Is this real? It's so crazy. When I decide to look fragrances up online without like pre-doing it, I never find it. Anyways, it looks like it's around the $200 price point. Do they sell it in half-size bottles? They do. Oh, it looks like it only comes in a 50 ml for around the $200 price point. You can get testers and samples of this fragrance all day long, as well as a discovery set from Born to Stand Out. But it looks like it only comes in 50 ml. So correct. I stand corrected. I don't see 100 mils for this at all. Anyways, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything or if you've tried this fragrance. Let me know, guys, if you've tried Hindu Kush, and let me know if you guys really enjoy that. And does the note pairings that I've kind of listed off seem similar? Anyways, I hope you guys have a blessed week. This was Born to Stand Out, Mary Jane, and I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Perfect.
Very well done. I'm surprised for a cannabis fragrance. Again, I don't have anything to do with cannabis, especially at my age. No shade to anybody, but I'm pleasantly surprised, because it would be hard for me to give a cannabis fragrance a 10 out of 10 unless I really felt like it was well done, and this certainly is. All right, guys, be blessed. Peace.